Hey guys, and welcome to another Kickstarter campaign analysis. Today we are going to take a look at Dark Souls, the board game. Dark Souls, the board game, is of course based on the very popular video game series from Bandai Namco, Dark Souls, and the game was released. Actually, the campaign hit Kickstarter in 2016, and as of 2020, now when I'm recording, the shipping has not been completed yet. This is a very interesting case because at the time, this was one of the most popular campaigns. It raised almost £4 million, 31,000 backers. Really popular. This is a very famous IP. On the cover, you can see it uses also the original artworks from the games. This is actually from Dark Souls 3, but the game kind of encompasses the whole saga. So what happened? Let's take a look very briefly at the campaign page. So this is one of these very dense campaign pages. This is more or less how the base games looks. And then it starts this, like the page starts listing this never-ending list of miniatures. So if you're a fan of the game, you might recognize some of the popular enemies. I actually was a backer of this. I painted most of the bosses just for the fun of it. And then these are the stretch goals that are unlocked, were unlocked during the campaign. And the lower you go, you will see that there are more and more miniatures, because at some point you could also add the add-ons, which are expansions to the game that include more miniatures, more or less like other board games have done. But at the time, maybe it wasn't what everybody was doing. So for the price that you were paying, I think I paid around £85, if I'm correct. £80, you will get a lot of material. And what was surprising for me was that just a couple of months ago, at the end of 2019, I received a notice from the post office that I had something coming from the Steamforge guys, that are the guys that launched the game. And I wasn't sure what it was, so I went to the post office, and there was this big box. Let me put this bigger so you can see it better. There was this big box, and then inside the box there were 4 boxes of expansions for Dark Souls. Now you have to understand that I received the game already a couple of years ago. I think it was 2017, and I had absolutely no memory that all these stretch goals have been unlocked during the campaign. And I received 4 boxes, like you can see them depicted here. I think they changed slightly from what was promised in the campaign to what actually I received. I think that they might have put some of the expansions together. It doesn't look exactly like this, but yeah. So I received like 3 kilos of miniatures that I had no clue were supposed to arrive. And what's interesting is that well, there are several interesting things about this game. First of all, I will show you in a second. Let me share another tab with you. First of all, they had massive issues with translations, especially for the Italian and Spanish version. I have the English one, so I didn't experience them. But this is a very long and complicated story. At some point, I kind of even unsubscribed from the updates, because it wasn't about my reward anymore. But for what I remember, what happened is that they sent out Italian and Spanish copies that had wrong translations or really bad translations. So if I remember correctly, at some point they were asking people to send the boxes back. I can't find the exact update. This campaign has almost 200 updates, so it's kind of complicated to find them. But from what I read in the comments here is that this was 2017, and they were promising to send out the new cards to these backers. And there are backers here in 2019 saying that they didn't receive the cards with the correct translation. So massive issues here. But what is worse is that the game is not that good. So they found themselves in this terrible situation where they promised so many stretch goals and rewards and expansions, and it took them practically years to deliver them. And years later, people like me don't even remember that they are supposed to receive additional stuff, because basically they don't care about the game anymore. I think the game is fine. I tried it. It's all right. It's not something that it's easy to put on the table, but it has nice miniatures, and I painted those, so I'm kind of happy with my investment. Like for what I paid, I received quite a lot of material. It doesn't matter if I end up using it or not. But not only that, but after 4 years, they are still not done with all the shipping. I was checking a moment ago, and I think that they are discussing wave 4 of shipping. Keep in mind that I paid only for 1 wave of shipping, so I don't know where they're getting the money for these 3 additional waves. You have to remember that this is a campaign with more than 30,000 backers. So massive mistakes. The game turns out not to be incredible. They promised a lot of stuff to a lot of people. They are 4 years late. Stuff is not yet completely delivered. And as I was checking, some retailers also are missing their some stuff that they backed for, in a situation where maybe people don't really care about the game anymore. So of course, for the purpose of what you are supposed to do, I mean, this is a campaign. This is a big campaign. Probably, I wish that you would have like a 3 or 4 million pounds campaign, but probably that's not going to be the case. I mean, what we can learn from this experience is that be really careful when you plan your stretch goals. Make sure that things can be delivered in a reasonable amount of time, and also try not to disappoint backers promising to replace some parts or some things that are wrong in their order, and 2 years later you still haven't done that. Because right now what is happening is that these guys, for each new game they will do, they will lose a massive amount of the goodwill and the community they created around this game. If you want to learn more, I invite you to check out the page for Dark Souls, the board game, and read through the almost 200 updates. Before leaving, I'd like to remind you that if you like this lesson, you can access the courses on academy.writingbold.com. You see it on top of the video. You see the others on top of the video. The first module is free, and you can check out if you like the course. And then the full course, full access, starts at $97. I just remade the page to explain better what you're getting. And you get over 40 video lessons. You get checklists, calculators that will help you set up a campaign so it kind of makes sense. And here you can see a little samples of what I mean. Of course, you are also gonna get for free all these videos that I'm making for the YouTube channel and Facebook. But check it out, academy.writingbold.com, and I guess we'll see in the next analysis. Thank you and bye.